What if I told you that you could save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars each year by making few simple changes? Whether you are working on getting out of debt, just starting your savings journey, or looking to tighten your budget, today's video will give you 25 ways you can save more money in your daily life. Stick around because some of these tips are super easy and could put more money in your pocket right away. In today's video, I'll walk you through 25 different ways to save money across 5 major areas. That is food, entertainment, insurance, housing, and transportation. Each of these categories contains actionable tips that you can apply immediately. By the end, you will have a complete toolkit for managing your finances better and growing your savings faster. Now let's dive in. The first area we'll focus on is food costs. I don't know about you, but we all need to eat. But how we approach grocery shopping and dining out can make a huge difference in our spending. Here are 5 ways to cut your food costs and possibly save some money in your wallet. Number 1, stop eating out. If you are in the habit of ordering takeout or eating at restaurants, try meal prepping instead. Preparing meals in advance for the week will save you both on time and money. For example, prepping your lunches ahead of time can easily save you between $50 to $100 a week, which over time will possibly add up. If you are saving $50 a week because you are not eating out or buying takeout, over a year that will possibly end up to be somewhere around $2,500, because that's $50 a week over 53 weeks is almost $2,500 that you are saving of money. So imagine if you are spending more, that could be extra money that you'll be keeping in your pocket. Number 2, plan your meals. Planning your meals weekly or monthly helps reduce impulse buy. Create a menu and stick to it when grocery shopping. This way, you only buy what you need and cut down on food wastage. If you don't plan your meal and plan your grocery shopping, you walk into the grocery shop and you might be easily attracted by those deals that they will have hanging around, which will end up getting you to do impulse buying, which is a very good way to start wasting money. Number 3, shop at discount shops. You would be surprised at how much you can save by simply switching grocery stores. Try shopping at budget-friendly stores like Aldi or Costco for bulk purchases. Even if it's only buying some items in bulk, the savings will add up over time, because in the long run, every dollar counts. Number 4, take advantage of sales. Track grocery store sales and plan your meals around what's on offer. A typical example is in Canada, Royal Canadian Superstore is always having sales on Thursday. So if you choose to shop on Thursday, you know that at least you are getting better deals than buying on any other days. By using a price tracking app or maintaining a price book, you can find the best deals on regular items and stock up when prices drop. And you'll be surprised how much you can end up saving just because you chose to shop on a particular day. Number 5, I would say buy in bulk. Buying in bulk can often be cheaper, especially for those non-perishable goods. Split large purchases with friends or family if storage is an issue for you. For perishable items, freezing them can prevent waste and extend their lifespan. I know one person who cut their food expenses in half by meal prepping and shopping at discount grocery store alone. They managed to save over $200 a month by reducing dining out and optimizing their shopping habits. So you can also do that for yourself. Imagine if you're able to save just $200 a month by just implementing some of these strategies that I gave you. You will be able to now keep more money in your pocket over a year, and there will be enough money for you to save and possibly invest into your future. Second one that we'll focus on is entertainment costs. We all need time to unwind, but entertainment expenses can add up fast. Here are some tips to enjoy life without breaking the bank. Number 1, attend free local events. Look for free concerts, festivals, and community events in your area. Many cities offers free or low-cost entertainment like movie nights in the park that can just be as fun as some of those expensive outings. So if you don't have money in your pocket and you are looking to save, you can focus on just attending possibly free local events instead of splurging on those expensive tickets just because they are in vogue. Secondly, cut the cable cord. Cable TV can be a major monthly expense. Switch to cheaper streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, or even Disney Plus and save hundreds of dollars every year, because you'll be surprised that you might be paying for a service that you are not even be using. And sometimes by just focusing on the ones that you need, it will help you to save on that expense. So instead of spending maybe $160 on cable every month, if your favorite is just movies, you can possibly just get a Netflix subscription, and that might be enough for you until you're able to get your finances in order. Thirdly, cheaper accommodations for vacation. Consider camping or renting a cabin through national parks instead of staying at pricey hotels. Websites like Airbnb also offer budget-friendly options that are often cheaper than the traditional hotels. If your goal is to go on a vacation, sometimes you can just focus on the experience instead of just the cost, especially if you are trying to now get your finances in order, because hotel accommodation or accommodation on vacation tends sometimes to be one of the major costs when you are planning a vacation. So as much as you're able to reduce that one, you are able to keep a lot of the money in your pocket. Number 4, martini deals and happy hours. Plan your outings earlier in the day to take advantage of lower prices. Many restaurants, theaters, and other venues offer discounts for martini showings or happy hour specials. So sometimes if you're going to just go out, you can possibly go out earlier and enjoy more for less by taking advantage of those discounts that they might be offering because people came in earlier, instead of going later in the day until you are able to now get your finances in order where you can splurge on those things. Number 5, monthly subscriptions. If you are a regular consumer of music, movies, or books, consider signing up for subscription services like Spotify, Kindle Unlimited, or even Netflix. These services will give you unlimited access to content at a fraction of what you will spend on individual purchases. And because you are somebody who consumes these content a lot in a month, you can save because it will be like you are buying in bulk instead of just buying them individually. And just to give you an idea, I know a family friend who switched from cable to streaming services and saved nearly $1,000 a year. By stacking that with attending free local events, they were able to cut their entertainment budget without sacrificing the fun. The goal is to have fun, not just to drain your account. Number 3 is insurance costs. Most people think insurance costs are fixed, but that's not true. Here are 5 ways to lower your insurance premiums while keeping quality coverage. Number 1, shop around for insurance. Don't assume your current insurance provider is offering you the best deal. Compare rates every few years, especially if you have good driving record or haven't filed a claim in a while. And this is one mistake a lot of people make. They just assume that whatever they are getting or whatever the rep is telling them is actually true. Sometimes by shopping around, you are able to take advantage of some of those new offers that some of the providers might be offering. Personally, I know somebody who switched an insurance service provider, even though she thought she was getting the best deal possible, to a different one, and was able to cut her insurance costs by half. Just imagine that. Number 2, I would say utilize discounts. Many insurance companies offer discounts for things like bundling home and auto policies, being a part of a professional organization, or maintaining a good driving record. Always ask what discounts you may qualify for. You'll be surprised that there might be discounts that you are not taking advantage of just because there might be the option for you to bundle, or because you might be part of a professional organization, you might be getting a 10, 20, or 30% discount on your insurance. The rep is not going to tell you until you ask, because for him, His goal is to get you to pay as much as possible. So make sure you are always inquiring and asking and taking advantage of those discounts. Thirdly, raise your deductible. Increasing your deductible from $500 to $1,000 can save you a significant amount on your premium. Just make sure you have that deductible saved up, just in case you need to make a claim. Number 4, opt for a high deductible health plan. If you are healthy, consider switching to a high deductible health plan, that's HDHP. This often results in lower monthly premiums. And you can open a health savings account, that's HSA, to save money tax-free for medical purposes. So make sure you are opting into this high deductible health plan and taking advantage of it so you can save on your insurance. Number 5, stay in network. For health and auto insurance, staying within the approved network of providers or repair shops can save you a lot on out-of-pocket expenses. So make sure you are staying in network when it comes to some of these service providers. One of my viewers, I remember, told me was paying so much for car insurance, but after shopping around and taking advantage of a possible bundle deal with their home insurance, they were able to save $400 annually. And they were able to do all this because they make that decision to shop around and ended up finding that there is that option to at least take advantage of a bundle deal. So take this as a sign to start shopping around and double checking your insurance provider to see and compare to make sure you are getting the best deal as possible out there. Number 4 will be the housing cost. Housing is one of the largest expenses most people face. Let's explore how you can reduce those costs. Number 1, consider a roommate. Living with a roommate can save you hundreds of dollars a month in rent and utilities. So if you are somebody who is living alone, possibly not married, not with a partner, and you are renting all by yourself, but you are trying to get your finances in order, it might make sense to consider a roommate so that you can now split some of those expenses and help keep money in your pocket. Because this can help you to save for your future goals, like possibly buying a home. If you are paying, let's say, $1,700 for your rent right now, and you are living in a 2-bedroom all by yourself, and you choose to rent one out for, let's say, $700 to another person and split that expenses, that is $700 that possibly you are keeping in your pocket at the end of every month. Over a year, that 700 adds up, and now you ended up saving about $8,400 that you can now apply towards your future financial goals. Secondly, you can consider moving back home temporarily. If you are paying a large chunk of your income on rent, moving back home for a year or two can help you save for a down payment on a house or pay down a debt. So sometimes it might make sense that you might have to move back home to maybe your parents or where you were before you moved out, because your parents might have a house that they are living in all by themselves, and just because you got a new job, you made a decision to go rent on your own, but now your finances are suffering. It might make sense to move back home temporarily. Like a key word here is temporarily, because you know you are going back there to help make sure that you get your finances in order. Then after that, you can possibly move out on your own. Don't feel ashamed just because you have to move back, because trust me, it might make sense to move back home whilst you work to get things in order than to sit there and worry about your ego and get your finances to suffer and your long-term financial goals being impacted accordingly. So sometimes it might make sense for you to move back home temporarily. Number 3, consider relocating to a cheaper area. If you are flexible, consider moving to a city or a neighborhood where rent and the cost of living are lower. A 15 minutes longer commute could save you hundreds of dollars each month. When it comes to renting, sometimes the neighborhood that you choose to live in can make a difference. And sometimes it can make sense just to move maybe 15 minutes out of where you prefer, just to save a couple of $100 a month. Because that $100 that you save can go a long way to possibly affect your savings and your investment journey. instead of wanting to be in an area where you now have to pay premium just for the neighborhood whilst you are working on your financial goals. And the truth is, if you have to move, let's say 15 minutes away from your preferred area, you can even use that 15 minutes commute productively by possibly investing in yourself, reading a book, or maybe listening to a podcast, or doing something that during the 15 minutes that you are commuting will improve yourself in the long run. Number 4, and there's a big one, maybe buy a home instead of just renting. In some cases, buying a home can be more affordable than renting, especially if you are in an area with rising rent prices. Plus, you build equity over time. But before you make this decision, my advice is make sure you've done your research and checked all the expenses that are associated with possibly buying a home. Just because your rent is rising does not mean that you should just go and buy a home without knowing the costs that are associated with it. Just because the monthly mortgage is lower than how much you are paying your rent does not mean it might make sense in your case. So make sure you are doing your due diligence, because there are a lot of people who have made this mistake and regretted in the long run. But in some cases, it might make sense for you to buy instead of just renting. Number 5, if you are renting, sometimes it might make sense to negotiate your rent. If you're a good tenant, talk to your landlord about negotiating your rent, especially if rents in your area have been dropping. You may be able to score a discount by just asking, because the truth is most landlords will want to keep those good tenants because those ones give them less trouble and less expenses that they have to waste on chasing them for money and repairs. So it will be in their interest to maybe keep you instead of losing you. And because rent in your area might be dropping, you might have a case. In most cases, even if they do not reduce the rent for you, they might keep it as it is because you're a good tenant, even though rent around you might be rising. The 5th one we'll talk about is transportation costs. Transportation is often an overlooked cost, but there are many ways to save money here. Number 1 is possibly carpool to work. Rideshare programs are available in almost every city. By carpooling, you can reduce gas costs and parking expenses. Personally, the city that I'm living in downtown. And personally, I was surprised when I first saw there were a lot of park and rideshare programs in the city. But later, I realized why a lot of people were taking advantage of it, because instead of you parking in downtown and paying parking fee of about $24 every day, that person can park on the outskirts of the city, share a ride into the city where he doesn't have to worry about parking fees. That $24 over a monthly period will possibly add up to about $600 in savings. But by sharing a ride or using the public transport into the downtown area, he is able to save on this particular expense. So this is something that you can look into and see whether you can take advantage of it. Even if you don't have park and ride in your area, you can even look into sharing a ride with a colleague. That way, you both can now split driving each other to work and don't have to worry about spending so much just to get to work. Secondly, I would say possibly use public transportation. If available, using the bus or the subway can be significantly cheaper than driving and parking every day. Because when it comes to driving, the cost that's associated is not just the fuel cost. There's also parking cost and maintenance cost that comes with it. So my advice is possibly whilst you are working on improving your personal finances, if possible, you can consider the option of using public transportation. Thirdly, you can either walk or bike if possible. If you live close to work or local stores, walking or biking not only saves you money, but also provides you with exercise and fresh air. Just because you are driving doesn't mean you need to drive anywhere and everywhere. Sometimes, if it's within walking distance, you can make a decision to walk or bike to that particular location, and you will save on that transportation cost in the long run. Every small dollar counts when you are on the journey of improving your personal finances. So whilst you are trying to improve that personal finance, you can try to possibly consider this option when it comes to maybe going to areas or locations where they are within possibly walking or biking distance. Not only are you saving, but you're also helping improve your personal health by enjoying the fresh air and some exercise whilst you embark on those errands. Number 4, you can consider ditching the car, truthfully. In some cities, public transportation and ride-sharing apps make car ownership unnecessary. I remember when I visited a friend in New York and I found out that he wasn't driving. I was personally shocked until I started enjoying the public transportation system. Then I found out why. There was no need to even bother owning a car because from his work to his house, basically he could use public transportation all around without having to worry about traffic or transportation cost of owning a car. Getting rid of your car can save you on loan payment, insurance, gas, and maintenance. So truthfully, if you are now working on possibly improving your personal finances, it might make sense to ditch that car if it's feasible in your case. Number 5 will be on car ownership. Possibly buy used car instead of a new one. When it's time to buy a car, opt for a used one. New car lose value quickly, and lightly used vehicle often offer value for your money. So whilst you are on that journey of improving your personal finances, if you want to buy a car because in your case it makes sense to get a car, you can possibly look into buying a slightly used car instead of going for a brand new one, because sometimes you might be getting better value in that used car and making some savings in the long run. And you'll be surprised how much savings you can now make or save when it comes to transportation costs. I know a coworker who recently sold his car and switched to public transportation because in his case, there's a bus stop right in front of his house that he can take to get to work, which means he can just pick the bus from the house to the work without having to worry about walking long distances. And in his case, whilst he was trying to work on improving his finances, he felt the need to ditch that car and try to reduce his expenses to the bare minimum. And by doing this, he was able to save about $3,000 annually in gas, parking, and maintenance costs. And that $3,000 went a long way to help clear some of the debts that he had sitting there. And there you have it. 25 simple ways to save more money across food, entertainment, insurance, housing, and transportation. If you start implementing just a few of these strategies, you will see your savings grow in no time. Also, make sure to watch my video on how to create a budget. Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.